What's up everyone? First off, if you don't know me, my name is Garrett Campbell. And in this video, if you haven't been able to tell already from the title, I'm going to be breaking down Iman Ghadzi's deal that he closed for a $12,000 a month SMMA client. And you may be asking yourself, like, what exactly qualifies this guy? Well, I mean, over the past 4 to 5 years, I've done over $8 million in sales. So I want to see, is Iman Ghadzi really good at sales? Or is he just kind of riding off of his big personal brand and this is making it really easy for him? So without further ado, let's dive into the video.
From Sweden.
Nice. Whereabouts?
Huh?
Whereabouts?
In southern of Sweden, a town called Helsingborg. It's at the bottom. Yeah.
Very interesting. Never heard of it before. Never been to Stockholm.
No?
Really want to go. I mean, Sweden just has the most incredible women, honestly.
I agree.
And then I've been to Gothia.
Gothia Towers.
Gothenburg.
Gothenburg. Yeah.
Gothia Cup, like 3 years.
Yeah.
I used to play a lot of football.
One of the easiest ways to like hack rapport with the client is to base things off a location. So if you're well traveled, it's definitely a plus. But just saying anything about the location, if you can have like a shared experience, it really humanizes you and it makes them trust you like a tad more. Always start with like a location-based question and then try to build rapport off of that before, of course, getting right into the video. Because this is a B2B sales call, as in a business selling to another business, you don't really want to chit chat too much here. You really want to dive right into what's going on as soon as you talk about location a tad.
Man, like
Nice.
it's so funny. I remember, like, I would ask girls, like, it was like half about football, half about like partying and girls and stuff like that. Like, I would ask girls, like, what are you doing here? They're like, oh, we're here for 2 weeks because we traveled from the other side of Sweden to come meet like British and American boys and French boys and this and that.
Yeah, I've also played at that cup actually.
Really?
Yeah. It's
It's a lot of fun. Anyways, yeah, just a quick heads up, going straight into this call. Won't be able to make you an offer today. This is just kind of a no pressure preliminary conversation. Obviously, Danny had the first 15-minute demo call with you.
Yes.
I'll just be 100% honest with you. I was actually traveling the last 36 hours. So I actually just didn't get a chance to watch it. Obviously, I always watch over demo calls. So as I said, I just want to get a bit of preliminary information from you. Then Danny and I can go away and speak about it. Now, from what I understand,
it's not uncommon for selling like a marketing agency or just in general, like an agency type service to have what's called like a 2-call close. Is then you have a quick like 15-minute call and then you do like a secondary call, which is where you pretty much like pitch. Iman Ghadzi made a terrible mistake of not even watching that call at all. So he's horribly unprepared. On the bright side, at least he's being transparent in saying like, I'm going to be completely honest with you, dude. Like I didn't even watch it because it builds some trust because it's like, you just look bad by not doing it, but you also just look bad by not doing it and being unprepared because it probably makes that guy think, is this how you treat your clients? They send you stuff, you don't look at it, you're unprepared when you come into meetings because that's a massive red flag. So obviously the good thing to do is like to actually watch that call because this traditionally is like the actual closing call where you just get right into things. So let's keep watching.
understand you guys got 2 brands that you're working on and building. Kind of, where's the focus at the moment and which one do you more specifically want our help with, or do you want our help with both?
So we have 2 brands, and the first brand is focused on the Swedish e-commerce market, and the other one is focused in the US. And we want to focus on the Swedish one for sure. And we have pushed quite a lot of revenue lately, and it's only like a month old, but we really see a huge potential here. So that's the one we want to focus on.
So you say it's a month old, but from what I understand, you guys are doing over 6 figures a month with it?
Yeah, we're doing like, yesterday we did about 35K in revenue.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, 6 months time, where would you need to be for, for you to consider a success, our partnership a success?
Do you mean revenue wise or?
Yeah, revenue wise.
Do you mean in the entire 6 months?
No, as in how much monthly?
Like 1 million. We want to aim like 500K to 1 million. Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah.
Understood. So at the moment, are you just running the ads yourself?
Yeah. Currently, I'm doing all of the ads myself, but we have people that source videos and copywriters and stuff like that. So, but I focus on the advertising myself.
For sure.
Yeah, right now he's really just trying to play like catch up here to do everything you're supposed to do in the first 15-minute call like now. So he's kind of backtracking, asking him like, how much are you doing in revenue? Like, what are your goals? Like, what company are you even focused on? What product are you even focused on? Like, he's really just playing catch up here. So this isn't traditionally what I would do in a sales call. I wouldn't ask like a current situation question and then a future situation goals question that fast back to back. But like, again, he's trying to play catch up and like dig himself out of a hole.
How much time does it take out of your day?
Maybe like 4 or 5 hours a day. Yeah.
4 or 5 hours a day. Wow.
I do a lot. Yeah, I focus a lot on it.
And are you the only founder, or do you have a partner?
2 others.
2 others.
Yeah.
4 or 5 hours a day. That's a lot.
Right.
So yeah, if you give me a breakdown, like let's say over the space of the last 30 days, how much have you guys? I'm assuming it's over the Facebook.
Yes, it's only focused on Facebook right now.
He has 2 good questions there. I'll give him that. One being, do you have any other like business partners basically involved in the decision-making process or for stuff like this, which is good because you can't drop price and go through all that if you don't have everyone present. So he was playing his cards right well there. And then the other question that he asked, because he's trying to like pinpoint like, why is this guy even here? Like he did 6 figures his first month, with a business, like pretty dang good if you ask me, you know what I mean? That's why I was like, so this must be a time thing. So he's like, how many hours are you putting into this? And he's like 4 to 5 hours, a day, which is like, that's like over half of a day, like half of a day's work, depending on how much you frequently work. So he's like, oh my God. So he like, his reaction went to overemphasize like 4 to 5 hours. Like, oh my God, that's a lot of time to be like, cool. This clearly isn't like I don't know what I'm doing, things aren't working call. This is more of like things are working so well, I don't have any time and I'm trying to grow, so we need someone else to do this call, which is like, now I get the picture.
Yes. How much have you guys spent and how much have you guys brought back?
I can take a look right now on the exact numbers.
The guy is also super like lower energy, super calm, collected type of guy. So Iman and his business partner or whatever sales guy is mirroring that energy by being super lax. If you're super high energy and the prospect is super low energy, it kind of like hurts you because it's like this guy's over the top. So mirroring like their energy levels and his calmness is really good.
So since the beginning, we have generated 200K so far, and we spent 60K on ads.
Awesome.
And that's in euros.
Amazing. And what's your guys' biggest seller on that store?
It's like LED spotlight, like when you can just put it like whenever you want. It's like
looking at it now.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what's the sort of skew on that? Is that bringing in like 50% of sales, 80% of sales? Like what's the distribution between the products?
70% at the moment. It's our biggest winner for sure.
Awesome. And then your second biggest winner?
It's we have the Galaxy lamp, and then it's like a fireplace cabin, so to say. Yeah, that's also a winner.
Okay, amazing. But
we run about like 7 to 8 products right now that is performing good, so I'm just scaling from there.
And for example, with the spotlight, what's your margins on that?
We buy it for like $6 and we sell it for like 30 euros. So it's pretty good margins on that one.
Well, okay, amazing.
$6 with shipment and everything.
That's with shipping and everything, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, great. And your the lamp, do you know what the numbers are on that?
I can actually take a look for you.
In terms of margins and everything?
We have pretty much lower margins on that one, but I'm not currently. It was pretty good the first 2 weeks, but then I scaled it down a bit. Let me see. I can sort on the SKUs here.
Again, this is all basic numbers, metric, data collection stuff that he should already know from the first call, or he should have filled out on some type of form or something like that prior to the call. So just honestly trying to get clarity on like how the business even works and like how they make money before more than he is like really doing deep sales, like get you to buy my stuff right now. It's very just curiosity driven questions to get clarity on what's going on, because if you don't have clarity on what they want and what they have going on, they're never going to buy anything you're selling if you guys aren't even on the same page and aren't like really just on the same page. So that's still where he's trying to get right now, deeper into this first call.
So actually the lamp is the third biggest winner. We sell it for like 50 euros and we buy it for around 20, 22, 23. So it's not the best margins on that one. And that's why we have scaled it down too and focused more on the spotlight, the LED one.
For sure.
Yeah.
Great. So you mentioned in your application that you worked with a couple other agencies and had some not so great experiences. Can you touch on that a little more?
Yeah, we've only worked with one.
Phenomenal question. So the reason he even asked that in the first place is because he's like, okay, like stuff's working. It's just like a time thing is seems to be what it's sounding like right now. So he's like, you could do it. Like there's a couple of options here. You could just keep doing it yourself and just be really busy, which means you'll obviously save more money, but you won't be able to do other things to scale your business. You could just hire someone internally, like just hire an employee to do it, or you could hire an agency. So he's like, he's obviously on a call with me, so he's on the hiring agency route. But if he has the belief that all agencies are bad, and because I had this one bad experience with an agency, I'm never going to work with an agency again, where there's this stigma around marketing agencies, then obviously these not going to go with it. So he's like, let me unpack that problem, because there may be some type of baggage or, scar tissue around working with an agency. So let's just unpack that bad situation that happened.
An agency before, and we were pretty.
Marketing agencies have a like very big reputation of fucking up and not doing that well and not getting people great results, because most marketing agencies aren't great. There's very few that are good.
Satisfied with their work, but then we added them as an admin on our ad accounts, and one of the members in the agency got hacked on their Facebook. So they actually hacked our complete business manager, and they removed all of our ads. And we couldn't restore the Facebook accounts. So, and they didn't give us the money back too. So it was a very bad experience.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. Now you mentioned
best way to respond, like obviously that's terrible experience. It's best to just show empathy there. Like it's very salesy response, like, oh my God, that's so bad. We would never do that. We would never get into that situation. We would have obviously refunded you guys. Like that's a very salesy response. So just showing empathy, like, wow, like, super unfortunate that happened. Just being a class act and not bashing competitors is really good. Good for your reputation, and just showing empathy is the right thing to do in that scenario.
You mentioned in 6 months, you want to be at $500,000 a month, potentially even $1 million a month revenue. Is that as a business, or you want us to bring you in, $500,000? Maybe if you could, pinpoint a number that you'd be happy with, and then specifically how much you'd want us to spend, just so we can, kind of gather expectations, because if you want us to do $500,000 a month at a 7x ROAS, not sure if that's possible. If you want to do it kind of maintaining your margins as is, then it's definitely a conversation we can entertain.
We're definitely aiming for like 500K with a 2.5 to 3 ROAS. That's attainable for us.
Amazing. Understood. So, out of curiosity, you obviously it is taking a lot of time out of your day. But apart from that, why do you want to work with an agency?
Because I feel like I want to focus on growing the company.
This question's really good because it's basically making him sell Iman or sell his business on why they want to work with his business by saying like, what makes you want to work with an agency? Because I just obviously said what I said earlier, which is like you could hire a person, you could hire an agency, you could keep doing it yourself. So he's like, why do you want to work with an agency? So then he has to sell them on why he wants to work with them, which makes it really easy when you're not selling. It's like sales is a game of push and pull. If you're not hard selling them on why they should do it, but you're like pulling away and they're selling you on why they want to do it, it makes sales so freaking easy.
Company without like managing the ads all day long. And I feel like there's more stuff that we're going to focus on now, and getting a warehouse here in Sweden and ordering a huge stock here. So I'm going to work a lot with that too. And then other parts of the business as well. Yeah.
So just out of curiosity, have you guys looked at expanding into different markets? You know, because we've got clients come to us, you know, one that comes to mind 2 months ago, or actually, 2.5 months ago, you know, this client was just selling in UK, and we're like, look, I think we're going to do better. Like their entire business was just UK. It even had UK in the company name. And, you know, we were like, look, we think you could do a lot better in the States. And, you know, within the space of 2.5 months, the ads that we're still advertising the UK, start advertising Canada, States, and Australia. But the ads specifically just from the US has 3 times what their entire business was doing when they joined us. And, you know, we love bringing, taking clients, and we love pushing our clients and going, hey, you know, maybe you're thinking a little too small here. So is that something you've thought about?
Yeah, we definitely want to.
It's really intelligent I call it a subtle flex on sales calls, where you just like sprinkle in like a really awesome testimonial, and then you just shrug it off like it's nothing, and then ask your question that kind of correlates to that. Very, very intelligent stuff if you want to like wow them a little, but not be like, look at how awesome we are and all these client results that we have, but just like lightly mention it like it's a nothing, just a typical everyday thing, and then like move the conversation away from that, because they're like, no, like I want to hear more about what just happened. And then you're like, no, I have this question, and you just like kind of steer them away. It makes them like wanting more, but you don't let them have it.
Go to other countries in Scandinavia, like Denmark, Norway, Finland, maybe possibly as well, but our main focus is Germany as well. It's a huge market there, and that's also why I need to work with an agency, so I can start on working on developing the company into more countries as well.
You're a very smart man, because a lot of e-commerce business owners, they're doing good and they never get to great because they're so adamant on doing what someone else can do better. Exactly. And is what, you know, our entire life is based on this thing. Our entire life, my entire life, my entire company payroll, this, that, and you know, as you said, you know, we can't build new distribution channels for you. You know, we can't build an incredible company culture for you. We can't, we can't test price elasticity for you. We can't, find new winners for your store. Only you can do that.
I agree.
All right, awesome. So all of that makes sense. I'll be honest, it's all very, very reasonable. So let me go away and have a chat with Danny. I'll just be, put my cards out on the table. Okay. This is a very, I mean, you could not get a client that's more fits into our regular mold. Company coming to us doing 150K a month, e-commerce, wants to get to 500K a month. This is pretty much what we do. Like this kind of fits our perfect mold. So yeah, next.
He mentions this as in like, this is like perfect for us because it's what we do all the time. This may seem like a problem for you, but this is like an everyday occurrence for us. So you getting from 100K a month to like 500K a month is like easy. Like we do it every freaking day. It'll just be kind of rinse and repeat because we've done it so many times. It gives them the confidence, because a common objection is like, yeah, you can get all these client results, but can you do it for someone just like me? So he's kind of like pre-handling that objection before it even comes by mentioning that he does this on a daily basis and it's kind of the norm for them.
The next call that we have, I'll go away, speak with Danny, speak with the rest of the team. But next call we have, I will tell you a little bit more, because on the results side of things, it's a green light. honestly, no issues here.
Yeah.
Only thing that's important to us is company culture, and that's really, really important to us. Like,
yeah,
actually, that's more important to us than anything, because at the end of the day, we're not, we're not like a car salesman. I would say, car salesman. It's like you're sleeping with someone. With us, it's like we're getting a relationship. Because at the end of the day, we're long-term partners. And there's a, on your side, you need to enjoy working with us, and on our side, we need to enjoy working with you. And from my coming up on 5 years of having an agency, that's the only way I've ever seen it to work. And we have very, very good relationships with our clients. So we'll go over that on the next call, and then outside of that, we'll make you an offer. Just to be very honest with you, it'll be a low the way that we like to make our money is always on performance. That's kind of the way that we prefer to be compensated. We'll make you an offer that is just kind of a no-brainer. And as I said, it's kind of based, the whole ethos around it will just be.
So what he's doing here is he's moving things to a third call because he was unprepared for the first one. And it's clear that he does have other business partners now. So he's not going to give him a pitch. So the third call, which is typically the second call where the business partner and every decision maker is present, which is not the scenario now, which is why it's a third call, is basically just going to be like, you're getting pitched. Like, so far, so good. We're giving you the green light. My main concern is company culture, which is awesome because it shows him that he's not some agency that just sees money signs. It's like, whoa, you're making $100K a month. You could probably afford our service. Let me just close you. It's like, I want to enjoy working with you. So it's like, they're kind of both in a dance right now where they're not acting like they both want each other too bad, even though they both kind of like do. So Iman's like pushing him away even more and be like, listen, like if you're not a company culture fit, we're not going to do it. So let's do another call. This is where we're going to pitch you. And then he's also like hinting a little bit at price and what that's going to look like. He's like, just transparently, we're mostly performance, kind of like this. When the call is over and one business partner prospect speaks to the other business partner prospect and it's like, hey, how much do they charge? And he's like, I don't know. They just kind of said it's like really high performance, like a low base pay type of stuff. So doing a little bit of price hinting. So the other decision maker is a little bit up to speed with how pricing works before he gets on the call is super good stuff. So let's see what happens when they actually do their third call. Of course, the first one that we've seen, but now their second call here.
As I said, last time I kind of didn't go through our normal sort of process just because I want to get a bit of information on where you guys were at, just have a bit of, a bit of a more informal conversation. But really when we're talking to clients, we break things down into two parts. First is, ask you guys some.
So I don't know if they had any other like chit chat prior to this because he's really just diving right into it and he's not acknowledged the second person in any way, shape, or form. So he did post this on YouTube, to be fair. So maybe he cut off some of the little chatter to get to know the other founder, because it's important to know now that we have two people on the sales call here that are prospects, that are business partners, understanding the dynamic between the two. Because are they two CEOs? Is one person like the chief marketing officer, like the marketing guy, and the other person's the business owner? Is it that one guy's a CFO and the other one's a COO or a CEO, whatever? Like this all matters on the dynamic between the two, because at the end of the day, typically one person has a little bit more pull unless they're just 50-50 like equity partners in the business. So getting clarity on the dynamic between any two people in any sales call is crucial because it changes the whole sales dynamic of the conversation. So he just went right into it, didn't acknowledge the guy from what I can see. And if nothing happened before that, that's a big red flag. And then he's going into more of like a proper like presentation, which to be frank, I've never been the biggest fan of for selling most things, but when it's a marketing agency or just an agency type offer, it's not uncommon to use a more proper, well put together like presentation. So like a slide deck type thing.
Questions, see where you guys are at and see whether we can actually get you the results that you want, and really for you to also just set some expectations. Because at the end of the day, this is a partnership, and you need to be able to give us what we want out of this partnership, and we need to be able to give you what you want out of this partnership. The second thing is culture fit. For us, that is super, super important. Now, both of those have to be a green light, for us to offer you the chance to work with our agency. We've already gone through all of that, and as I said, watched through the first 15-minute recording. We actually didn't get a chance to watch it, which is why I need to have a bit more of that informal chat last time.
Yeah.
So we've kind of gone through the state of your business, and the good news is on the results side of things, it's a green light, right?
So, ladies and gents, in the way that I always do, I kind of pre-frame the call by saying, look, there's two things that need to be a green light. First of all, results front, we need to be confident that we can get you. Well, first of all, we need to understand your expectations of what you want results, and we'll tell you whether we think you're being too unrealistic or not being realistic enough. So that's number one. And then number two is culture fit. So I always say those two things need to be a green light. And the culture fit, once again, that's a lot of sort of pre-framing of what's about to come and kind of my way to get them to qualify themselves in a way that's not kind of...
Yeah, so he is right. That's basically when you're in the actual like sales call where you're like, this is the call where we're pitching. Usually what people do is what's called setting the agenda, which is kind of what he was alluding to earlier, which is basically just saying like, hey, this is how the call works. These are my expectations going into the call. This is what we're going to cover. And if everything checks out and you check every box, then I'm going to be giving you an offer.
The kind of clients that we worked with, the caliber of them, the results that we've brought them. So yeah, a little bit about how we operate, so you guys can, aren't making a decision in the dark. Our number one thing is results, and the offer that we're going to make you today is not based on impressions. It's not based on clicks. It's not based on even a potential of, hey, we're going to come in and we're going to come in and we're going to maintain what you're doing. Really, the offer that we're going to make you today is only worth it if we can not only come in and maintain, but do a hell of a lot better. And we'll outlay that in a second. And we've done some incredible things for our clients. Here's an example, return for one of our e-commerce clients. This is actually Oura Ring, our first 5 months with them. Granted, I will say the first month was primarily retargeting, and then from there, it was 80-90% of the spend was on cold. For education companies, once again, we've been able to do some incredible stuff. That's pure profit on the education company side of things. We're lean. I got a pretty small task force.
Kind of a red flag there. He obviously showed one testimonial, but then the other one that he showed was literally his own company, which was a course, and like the ROAS that he had with that when they're an e-commerce business. So it's like, I don't really care how your ads did when you were selling your course. Like it is running an ad, like there is that, but like running ads for like a course or, education type business is so much different than like selling like a little gadget, like a pair of headphones or something like that. So it's like, you don't have more e-commerce testimonials. That's kind of weird, kind of a red flag in my eyes if I was an e-commerce business. So I wouldn't have shown that testimonial if I was him. And if they work with so many clients and so many prestigious clients like he showed in the slide before, why is one of them his course?
Myself, Danny, Kieran, Luis, rather than having 20 employees, I would rather have 3. The caliber of my team, as I said, luckily with my brand and everything, and also just the reputation the agency has, we're basically able to attract the best talent in the world. Danny, fun fact about him, his background is in software engineering. So he was pretty much on a straight line to Facebook. And I had to do a lot of convincing and spend a lot of money to keep him at the company. So our talent, at the agency is well paid, very, very well trained. And yeah, as I said, kind of the best in the world. In terms of our lean approach,
there's really no back and forth here. And I hate this when there's like a long monologue on a sales call where you're just talking, and you have this like pretty little pitch deck. Usually prospects will start to zone out. You'll notice them checking their phone. You'll notice them looking around the room. Most entrepreneurs are like a little ADD. So if there's no back and forth dialogue throughout the sales conversation, they usually mentally check out. They're usually not paying attention near as much. And usually they're going to forget some of the stuff that you're talking about. So you have to drop them a couple like, we don't even have an office. Like, are you guys remote too? You guys in office? Kind of giving a little dialogue here just to keep them engaged in the conversation. This is super dry.
We have no office. It's funny. Obviously, the whole pandemic hit in 2018. Everyone's figuring out this whole Zoom thing and remote working. We've been doing that since 2018. We made a decision in 2018 that we wouldn't do any more face-to-face meetings, and we'd have no office, and we'd keep things lean. So that way, you're paying for the retainer, and that way you're paying for the value that we bring you, not an espresso addiction, not for some swanky office so that we can look cool. so we can just focus on getting you the results that we want. And, you know, we're client obsessed. You know, I think a lot of agencies out there, and one of the main reasons that people come to us as an agency is, unfortunately, a lot of agency owners are very one-dimensional. They only know what's going on in the ads manager. They don't know what it's like to spend, you know, I know what it's like to spend 5-6K a day of my own money on ads. You know, at one point we were doing that in 2019 for the education company. So like, I know that that's a daunting task, and I can help guide you through that process. You know, we know what it's like to have businesses that do a couple $100,000 a month. And we know what it's like to, for example, negotiate Stripe fees down. And most agencies won't be able to tell you that stuff, or most agencies won't be able to tell you how to, even things when it comes to email marketing for your e-commerce agency. You know, we have a list of 100,000 people for the education company. We send between 6 and 7 emails a week for that. You know, so how to clean that list, how to keep it healthy, how to negotiate your Stripe fees down, how to improve landing page speeds. We're brought on, and our role is for paid traffic. And that's what,
again, there's nothing wrong with courses. There's nothing wrong with education companies. I'm actually a big believer in them. But speaking to an e-commerce business and saying, this is why you should trust me because I have an email list for my course, and you know, I've made a lot of money off of it, and I've ran ads at it, is like, you're a marketing agency for e-commerce brands. Why aren't you telling more about what you've done for e-commerce brands? It's kind of, it would be fishy in my eyes that it's like, you just showed me all these companies. You're only talking about your course business a lot. Why are we not talking about the fact that like things that you've done for these e-commerce businesses? Like, it would be a red flag in my eyes. And that's one big thing I will change that he keeps coming back to.
we do, whether that's, as I said, we'll run your Facebook ads, your Google ads, your Pinterest ads, your YouTube ads, whatever we deem will bring you the best results, because whatever brings you the best results brings us the best results. And as I said, you'll see very shortly with the offer that we make you, our incentives are aligned, because, you know, really this deal only works for us if we improve what you're doing, and we only get compensated on that. And I'll touch on that in a second.
Great.
Yeah, you know, we run the business the way that we would want to work with an agency, which is onboard you really quickly and just not bother you, you know, over communicate, knowing that half the time you're not going to watch the weekly looms that we send you. Half the time you're not going to read the updates that we send you. You know, half the time you probably won't even think there's a need for the weekly or bi-weekly calls. But we'd rather over communicate and just make sure you're aware of every single part of the process, because at the end of the day, this is your baby. So we'll over communicate on that side. But on the other side of things, we're never going to bother you for assets. We're never going to bother you for creatives. We do everything end to end. Once you onboard, that's it. Like, that part of your business is covered, and you can make sure.
I think him being Iman Ghadzi and having the big personal brand is giving him pull here, because any founder I know, and I'm friends with a lot of business owners that are doing at least a couple $1 million a month, like $100,000 a month is just kind of like the starter kit. Like, cool, you're finally making some money. You've hit $1 million a year. Like, cute, but like, you're not a massive business in my eyes. Anyone I know doing numbers like that or more is going to be like, dude, like, can we get to the chase? Like, what are you going to do for me? Like, how do the actual ads work? Like, how much is it going to be? Like, can we cut to the chase here? He's been on this long ass monologue talking about his company and how it's ran, and that they don't have an office, they don't have a coffee machine, that we're best buddies and we'll help you with different things. And like, I would just be mentally checked out at this point and be like, dude, can we like have some back and forth here? Like, can we get to talking about, you know, what's actually going on here? Like, you said this was about our culture as a company. Why aren't you asking us about our culture as a company? Like, hopefully he's about to get done with this, because my Lord, this is dragged out.
You know, you can sleep well at night knowing that part of your business is covered, and we're not going to bother you every 2 minutes for emails or this or that. And right, the main thing here is you're handing this off to someone who's not only going to maintain what you're doing, they're going to do exponentially better. And that means that you can focus, as you said on our call 2 days ago, on the other areas of the business where you're the only one that can, you're the only one that can do that role. And, you know, no one, you can't hire an agency to do product development, to, you know, hire to, you know, improve company culture, really all the stuff that a founder can only do, and really the stuff that will really take your companies to the next level. So that's pretty much on that side. Now, we're expensive. You know, we're very, very expensive. And that's kind of because of the way that we operate. Zero risk, infinite rewards. And once again, you'll see kind of with the offer that I make you, it's it's pretty much primarily based on performance, and not only performance, but performance on taking what you're already doing and improving it. And look, I'm not saying that
I do like what he said about we're expensive. It kind of like helps people brace themselves for when you actually drop the price, because some people's ideas of expenses or expensive is different than other people's expensive. So if you say we're like really freaking expensive, and then it's like, oh, it's only 5K a month, it's not that bad to some people. So kind of explaining up front, hey, we're really expensive, and they have this huge number in their head, and then you say your number, and you're like, oh, that's actually smaller than I thought. It helps them embrace things a little bit. That when you say, hey, we're 12K a month, they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. If they're blindsided. So he's kind of like giving them that like, hey, like brace yourself for impact here. Like I'm about to tell you like a big number.
that'll make you $250,000 a month return on ad spend like some of our clients. But as I said, with the offer, you'll see that you can't, there's no situation where you're going to be doing worse than you're doing right now. Is basically it. So yeah, that's that. Now, basically the last question that I have for you after I've talked your ear off is, why do you think you would be a good fit for our agency culture and the way that we operate, if at all you think that, you know, we would make a good team and a good partnership?
He asked one of these questions again, which is around basically like making them sell, basically Iman and IIG Media, or whatever his business's name is, on like why they like something. Like he asked earlier, like what makes you decide that you're going to hire a marketing agency? Like that's what I call a self-selling question. Like go sell yourself on it to me. And then he says again, like, why do you think you're a good fit for our company culture? Very good question.
Yeah. So with company culture, or the culture, what do you mean exactly with that? If you can specify the question a bit more.
Yeah. So in terms of company culture, I mean, as in between, from what you can see, the way that we operate, and kind of our company ethos. Do you think that matches up and aligns well to the way that you guys like to operate? I'll give you an example. People that know me well know that I'm very, very into watches. And one of our clients, Kevin Rose, he was on the board of advisors for a company called Hodinkee. Now, if you've never heard of Hodinkee as a client is literally my wet dream. Like I could not think of e-commerce watches like Hodinkee, like anyone who's into watches, like Hodinkee is like their favorite brand in terms of like watch talks and this and that. So in 2018, I got on a sales call with them, and that retainer would have been around 15 grand a month, right? So from a financial perspective, and from a, it was so cool to get on a sales call with them. All the boxes checked. I got on a call with them. In fact, we got on two, and I decided not to bring on that client because from a culture fit, I could tell it just wasn't going to work, because when we had to speak to them, one person had to approve it with another person who had to approve it. And that's just not the way we work. We like to be fast, lean, and focus on making you money, not having multiple layers of approval. So that's an example right there where, as I said, there just didn't seem like there was much of a culture fit.
Okay, I see. So I've been working with events since we were 17 and we're 23 at the moment. So we basically started like the whole e-commerce business in high school, and like why I think it would be a great company fit for us, because we're very like easy to deal with, and as you say as well, like we're definitely happy to give you the responsibility to outsource everything for growing our company with the ads, and we feel like we want to trust you guys, and so just let all of the control to you guys for the advertising part, and also with the over communication with the weekly meetings and the Loom calls and everything like that. We're very happy with that as well, and I think we're very easy to deal with, straightforward, and we're very serious as well. And I wouldn't have came to you guys if we're not serious in
So,
growing.
ladies and gents, you kind of just saw the whole culture fit question at work there.
Yes, for sure. I totally agree with Jacob. We are two persons that are very easy to communicate with, and we totally agree with the culture that you have with your company, with no office, and being straightforward in the communication. Just over communication is very important for us as well. Just keeping everything together just communicate fast and communicate around the business often is
So great question. It evoked a great response, which is them selling, I really want to trust you guys. You know, me and my partner both want to really just give you everything. We want to trust you. We want you guys to take over everything. We're easy to communicate with. So they're selling them on like why they're a good culture fit. And it's funny because actually like 3 of my friends sent me this. This was posted like 2 years ago. A couple of my friends have sent me this and I'm like, do you think this sales call is fake? Like, is Iman just doing this to kind of see, like, look how awesome I am at sales? Which, like, of course, like, you're not going to want to put on YouTube, like, your worst sales call ever for someone who didn't close. Cause, like, why would you do that? Like, it would obviously make him look bad. I think it's a real call. I think they're just a very warm lead that we're probably going to close, like, no matter what. He did a very good job at navigating the sales call. And I would, you know, honestly rate his sales performance so far like a 7.5 out of 10. But let's keep listening. Usually this is the part where like the tension in the call gradually rises because we're about to drop that price and be like, is it a yes or is it a no situation? So let's see how they handle things.
Important for us as well. As you said before, it's like our baby, and it's always has been with the e-commerce. We have always been very, very passionate about business, working, not just working all the time, but working smart as well. So that's what I had to say about it. So
for sure. Awesome. Well, good news is, we feel the same way. So,
great.
Glad to hear.
That's a great news. So in terms of what we can offer for you guys now, as you guys mentioned last month, you spent $60K and brought back in $200K. So that's around $140K spread right there, return on ad spend. Now, we don't want to come in and take ownership, or we don't want to take credit for what you guys have already done. So we don't want to take, for example, a percentage of return on ad spend for $140K when you guys have already done that. But we also need a little margin of safety because $140K could have been a fluke, quite frankly. So we need just a little margin of safety. So what we can offer you is 1,600 pounds a month base fee. So that's just a tiny base retainer, and then from there we're only going to take a 5% return on ad spend of anything we bring you over 100K a month return on ad spend. So let me kind of break that down a little more. So as I said, right now,
By the way, this is a really, really good offer. He must have read $100 million offers by Hormozi. This is very good because it mitigates their downside risk. As in, if he was just like, hey, I need 5% of however much I make you, well then bang, he's making $7,000 a month, like immediately, and he's not even done anything because the business is already doing that as is on their own. So he's like, give me a little bitty retainer, like $1,700, which is like literally nothing, or $1,600, whatever he said. But he has a percentage on revenue minus the ad spend on what they've made north of what they've already done themselves. It's a really, really good offer. It would be hard to say no to just as is because it's a really good offer.
When we're like, for example, if we spend 50K and we bring you back in 150K, we won't take any percentage of that. We'll only start taking 5% of in terms of return on ad spend. So obviously that's rev minus ad spend. So actual return on spend our 5% only kicks in once we make you 100K that month. Right.
So for an example, if we spend 100K and we get 300K back, it's the 5% of the 200K.
Only 5% of 100K. For the first 100K, because you guys can already accomplish that yourselves. We don't want to take credit for that. So in that instance, as you said, if we spend 100 and bring back in 300, the first 100K that we make you minus ads, we don't take any of that.
So ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing there, and I do this with law clients.
It is good that he's defining terms here because I've ran into scenarios to where you close a client and it sounds like we're all on the same page. And then you build them the first time, they're like, whoa, what is this? For deals that I've closed for other businesses in the past. So strictly defining the terms, I'm like, okay, so in this example, we would make this much, you would make this much. But in this example, you would make this much, I would make this much, just so there's full clarity long before they actually make a buying decision is huge.
100K onwards in terms of return on spend.
Okay.
Just so another example would be 100K spend, 350 brought back. It's 250 there that we would 5%.
Okay.
Danny, you mean 150?
150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell this Danny guy's not the best sales guy in the world. That's why Iman's been talking the whole time and he's been super quiet because he literally just butchered what he was just saying. And I still don't really understand the dynamic between these two guys. I mean, granted, like they're blurred out, so I can't see their aneurysms. But I think they're just 50-50 partners. They've been buddies since high school, doing this since high school. So I think they're just equal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what you can offer. And then it's a 6-month minimum. That's standard with us. So we don't take clients on for anything less than that. These days, 6-month minimum. And then from there, rolling month by month, you can leave anytime.
That's awesome. And so
I'm very surprised you said that's awesome. That's kind of scary. A 6-month minimum, as in, let's say these guys start doing, they've only been running this business for a month. So let's assume that things are actually going really well. And Iman Ghadzi's business isn't really that all impressive and they're making 300K a month and then they're kind of just being lazy. It doesn't matter. They literally can't fire him for the next 6 months. So I'm very surprised he said that's awesome. Maybe this one of my friends said this might be fake, but I'm not convinced it's fake. I think it's a very legitimate sales call. I think these founders are just really chill and they have a really good connection with how he's handling himself and just staying cool, calm, and collected.
So basically what we want at the moment is Facebook ads, of course. And so you mean that everything is outsourced. So once we sign the onboarding and send the payment over, like everything is automated, like with the creatives and everything like that. So we don't have to.
We'll do all of the, obviously all of the copywriting. So everything will be done on our end. As I said, even as we kind of mentioned in the last call, we'll even do things like test out new funnels. Like for example, for some of our e-commerce clients, we've done quiz funnels. We've expanded into different markets for some of our clients. That's one thing I mentioned on the other call.
Yeah.
We had a client that was basically...
It's funny how all the questions start coming out. Now they know. They were all quiet the whole call, which kind of because Iman was hogging the mic. But now that it's crunch time and it's now they know how much they're going to be paying, they're like, okay, now I have this question, I have this question, I have this question. So it's important to not go for the close and be like, pay the invoice, let's go. But to really just stay lax and let them get all their questions out because these aren't even objections. It's just genuine curiosity. Nothing here is really like an objection.
Had UK in their name and they're a company called and we told them, we're like, we think you could do a lot better if we start going to the States, Canada, Australia, et cetera.
Yeah.
And the business owner was pretty apprehensive because they built the whole brand around UK and this and that, and we still advertise as UK even in the States. But from the point that we started advertising this, now month 3, we bring in more money through the States than their entire business did through ads, than their entire business did as a whole in the UK when they first started with us.
That's
so
awesome.
Once again, that's something that clients come to us because we're not here to come in, take our base retainer, do the bare minimum. Like we're going to push you and we're going to offer new suggestions and we're going to try things for you. Because at the end of the day, just to be very honest with you, for us at this stage, a 4,000 pound a month, like we don't touch anything less than $4,000 a month in terms of billables. So our base retainer is inconsequential. For us, we want to test things and try things and push things because, as I said, once we don't make any money on that first 100K that we bring you, in terms of revenue minus ads, but we're trying to get you to fucking 400 or 500K a month because that's when it gets interesting for us.
Yeah,
for sure. Sounds good.
And also,
he was smart in doing that and talking about, we really don't care about any of this. We just want you to get you to 400, 500K a month because when clients start throwing in all these questions of all the nitty gritty details, after they have the price, they have all these questions, they're going to get into the nitty gritty details. And when people make buying decisions, they're basically buying the future outcome, not are you going to run Pinterest ads? Are you going to run YouTube ads? Are you going to run Google ads? Are you going to run Facebook ads? It's more like, are you going to give me to 400, 500 grand a month like we want? Yes, cool. Everything else can figure itself out. So when clients or I guess prospects that are about to make a buying decision get into the weeds of all these details, you need to get them away from that and just bring them back in their head to their end goal, which is we want to get you to 400 or 500 grand a month. We're incentivized to do so. They're like, okay, yeah, I'll just stop overthinking things and I'll just pay. So it's good because the further out you get prospects thinking into the future, the higher likelihood they have of closing. So if they're thinking about today, they're thinking about tomorrow, they're thinking about this month, next month, they have a lower likelihood of closing than when we're thinking about 6 months, a year out into the future where we're making the amount of money that we want to be making. That's where you want our prospects' head state when we're getting time to about to pay the invoice.
Yeah, go ahead, Vincent.
Is there a problem for like we're Swedish and currently all of our customers are Swedish as well? I'm just thinking about the creatives in terms of copywriting and the videos and that kind of stuff. How will this be managed in Swedish?
Yeah, so we have clients in Finland, Italy, Germany. Basically, the way we do is we write all of the content and then you guys translate it because then we can get a translator. That's possible. And we've offered that to our clients before, but every single client has just decided to translate it themselves. Because, that's the easy bit, right? That's the easy bit is translating. Once we send you the creatives, it'll take you, or once we send you the copy, it'll take you 2 minutes to translate it. The reason that a lot of times clients like to translate it themselves is because a translator will translate it word for word or like, they don't understand your product, and it's almost nice that you add that the little cherry on top when you translate. You just put it in. We do 95% of the heavy lifting. That last 5% you can do, and it comes out well, and it comes from you.
Yeah, in terms, you also ask in terms of the creatives on the onboarding. We ask you for like a dump of every sort of creative you have, and then we work with those. We do the edits if it's needed. We do anything that's needed inside of it. But we do need some sort of input on that end. Clearly, as you guys have the products or are able to have them in person, that kind of thing. So in that case, we do. But the way Iman said it's automated. It's because after that first Google Drive that you send us, we won't be needing anything else because we work with that. It's just that you won't be thinking, okay, does media need more creatives? Have we sent it? What are they asking? No, it's already.
Honestly, this guy should not be on the sales call. He's not too hot with things.
All in a folder, and we just use that.
Okay, that's awesome.
Sounds good.
Let me see.
And for we're testing a lot of products, and that has been the key, as this is a general store in Sweden. We sell all kind of smart and trendy products and gadgets that you can use to make your life a little bit easier. And the strategy we had right now is like testing about 2 products a day to keep finding winning products and be able to.
Dang, these guys have so many questions. And I think it's because they didn't get a chance to talk the whole time. So now they're like, finally, I can get my questions in. I think if there were more dialogue, we wouldn't have all these questions, because the goal is for there to be no questions whatsoever after the prices dropped, besides just like, cool, let's do it. Or, oh, that's expensive. You deal with a little price objection, then you're good to go. You could pay, you're good. They're onboarded, their deal closed. But they have all these questions because they didn't get a chance to talk. So I think what Iman and his partner Danny, I think his name is doing right now is they're kind of playing catch up from all the talking he was doing in the first majority of this call, really the first like 75% of this call. Now they finally have their chance to talk. So now they have all these questions, and you don't want them having questions or being confused after prices dropped.
SEO, for example, SEO we won't do. It's within the realm of paid traffic. So we'll run your ads on Facebook, we'll run your ads on Google, we'll run your ads on wherever you want. Now that's the thing, we're not going to run ads on 8 different platforms at scale simultaneously, because you're going to get, you only ever need, here's the thing, to get you guys to $500,000 a month, we only need 1 cold source of traffic, right? So we're going to.
Ivan's smart. He's bringing it back again. Like I just said, he's like, listen, to get you guys to $1 million a month, you only need one platform. So it's like, you're asking me about 8 platforms, 6 platforms, 4 platforms. Like, we only need one to get you to $1 million a month. Sure, we'll try some different ones to make sure that we find out the best one. But as a whole, we just want to run one. Like, so again, stop asking petty questions. Just like, do you want to get to $1 million a month or not? So it's good to, as they ask this question, keep looping it back to $500,000 a month, $500,000 a month, because they're buying that goal.
So we're going to figure out which one works best. And then we can do some retargeting, you know, and cross-pollinate across multiple platforms. But for that retainer, we don't charge extra for the different services. We'll do your retargeting.
It's just that it's taken into, like, if Google makes another 10 grand, then whatever we will, it's part of the revenue minus the ad spend of Google as well. So it's just another channel, but it's not extra. It's nothing. It just takes into the same deal.
Okay.
Once again, it comes into the theme of the most important thing is we're aligned here, and our incentives are aligned. You know, we don't get paid on, we don't take a percentage of ad spend. We don't take a percentage of revenue. We take a percentage of what we're making you after ads on the campaigns. Yeah. So if that means that, hey, we can make more money if we even run, you know, for some of our clients, we're even running YouTube ads. If that means that that's a better channel, and that's bringing in, you know, more net returns, instead we're on the same page here, right? Whatever's best for you, it's best for us, and whatever's best for us is best for you. So that's why kind of this structure works the best, and that's what we do with our clients.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really like the offer. Is it possible for just have a quick with Vincent, so we can just speak and?
Yeah, for sure. I think. Is there a way to put you guys in a, or maybe just...
This is really smart. So I always do what I personally call the bladder close. Everyone maybe calls it different things. Really, not everyone does this. I'm impressed with the fact that he does this. It's called the bladder close. So if you have 2 people, whether it's a husband and a wife, or 2 business partners that need to speak before they make a decision, obviously they have 2 different brains. They're thinking 2 different things, maybe not. They need to speak before they, make a buying decision together, like as 2 people. But if you book a whole nother call and then it takes another couple days, then they may talk themselves out of it. They may decide not to do it. They have so much longer to think about it. So as a salesperson or the business owner is selling your own service, you don't want them to leave the call. So you do what's called a bladder close, where it's like, cool, you guys go have your conversation. I'm going to put myself on mute. My partner here is going to put himself on mute as well. We're going to shut our cameras off. You guys take your time, talk amongst each other, put yourself on mute too. We won't hear anything. And then when you're ready, you've come back, give me a direct yes or no on like what you're looking to do. You get what you want, which is them not leaving the call, and they get what they want, which is space to think and talk. And then you can come back, stay on the same call, and make a buying decision.
I didn't know how long you guys would be, so I made myself a quick quarter stick of butter, 2 egg yolks, and MCT oil. Danny and I both do keto, so we have a lot of butter a day.
That's nice. Yeah.
So
maybe he's just a quirky guy, and that's why he did this. I think if my sales brain goes to maybe he's like, oh, I just went and made myself a little drink because I knew for a fact you guys were going to do it. And I was so lax and this doesn't really matter anything. This doesn't really matter to me. It's not a huge deal. Like a couple grand a month, $12K a month isn't huge. So I just made myself a little cup of coffee. Look at this. Haha. Kind of like lighten the mood, lighten the sales pressure. It was pretty intelligent.
So I've had a talk with Vincent, and I think we're very happy with the offer that you gave us, and we want to proceed with working with you guys.
Awesome, great stuff.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Actually, yeah. It feels very good for us.
Yeah,
and
I'm glad. Well, yeah. First of all, welcome to the agency. In terms of
okay, cool, you guys get the drill. They paid the invoice. Make sure, by the way, when you're doing sales calls, that they pay the invoice on the call. So many, especially agency owners, marketing agency owners, do this. Well, they send people the invoice, they send them a contract, and they just leave the call. And then the people, again, don't do it. They drag it out. They talk themselves out of it. So make sure they pay on the call. Make sure they pay on the call. I can't say this enough. Make them pay on the call. It helps so much. So he says, make sure they pay on the call. And that's really it for this video. Overall, I give it like an 8 out of 10. Again, I think the lead was super freaking warm. I honestly think no matter what he said, they would have closed the deal. And I also think most importantly, he has a really good offer. It mitigates their downside risk. It gives, Iman and his business a lot of upside to make more money as they make the business more money. So incentives are aligned. So I think between it being, Iman Ghadzi, who has a big name, I think if it was maybe his sales rep and he did all the things that he was doing on that call, it maybe wouldn't have closed. But he had really good composure. He had a really good offer. And overall, it was a closed deal. So who am I to say it didn't go well? Like, deal closed. And that's really it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. I want you guys to comment below what you think he may have done wrong or did really good. And if you guys want to see another live broken down sales call of a deal that I personally closed, you guys can see how I navigate sales calls differently and how I personally closed my deal. I closed the deal in 14 minutes on one call. It's very impressive. So I want you guys to check that out below. I'll put the link there. And lastly, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos just like this, and I'll catch you on the next one.